Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Jackson didn't practice today. Another day of practice missed. This time an ankle injury. No worries though. Got stepped on during practice yesterday. Should be good to go.
Righty, we will talk about
No worries,
that.
Ian. No worries. Why would we be worried? Who's worried? Who said they were? Did somebody say they were worried? I definitely wasn't worried. And now that you said that, I'm totally not worried. It's all good.
Reputable source.
Of course, I'm not saying he's lying. I'm saying the no worries part
downplaying an injury
is
another
comical.
Injury yeah.
Like, have you been watching Lamar Jackson? We're worried. Now add in that he got his ankle stepped on. We're worried.
That might help his throwing, though.
How? Stan.
He might not
You think
overcompensate.
it corrects a previous injury?
Exactly.
Now it's more even. Lamar Jackson, of course, did not practice yesterday. Neither did Travis Jones. Apparently, that's a personal thing.
I didn't practice either.
Well, why would you want to? But you're so in rhythm that you don't need it, Stan.
Exactly.
That's the difference. Lamar apparently was stepped on Wednesday.
And who do we think did it? Who do we think stepped
That's
on
a courtesy of Amazon Prime last night.
I'm guessing Emory Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have nothing. I have no leg to stand on.
There you
that,
go.
but
Apparently,
I'm
neither does
guessing.
Lamar. He got stepped on.
Exactly.
Well done,
That's
Stan.
part of the problem. Ay.
They're getting used to working together.
Yeah, something like that, man. I don't know. I hate it here. I just want to have good vibes, good feelings. We were so excited. Lamar Jackson practiced on Wednesday, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna get a full week of practice for Lamar Jackson." And then one day later, womp womp. Now, typically Wednesday is the more important day of practice, which is like kind of why it was always weird that Wednesday was the day he wasn't practicing. Over the years, Wednesday has been the day that you start to install things for that week. So maybe the Ravens.
This is all it takes?
Forget it. I don't know, man. I don't know. It stinks.
He's our dog, man. He's our dog.
Go beat the Steelers, and then we won't have to care about any of these things. It is a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn Ease Griffin, and of course, the Chief Grand Poobah, Stan the Fan Charles, is in studio with us. Much to do on the program today. Later on in the show, Charlie Batch, our friend, former Steelers quarterback, and part of their radio game day crew doing the post-game show out there. He will join us to preview Sunday's matchup.
I hope I can hang around that long.
He said he didn't know how he felt about you. Ooh. He said...
I've talked to Charlie many times.
Like, if I have to, I guess I'll
it's his birthday today.
It is his birthday. That's a great point.
I hope I'm around to wish him a happy birthday.
All right, well, we'll see. I don't want to promise anybody anything. I don't know. Also, later on in the program, we are going to preview another big game this weekend. Johns Hopkins football playing in the round of 16 in the NCAA playoffs and taking on an in-state rival as Salisbury comes to Homewood Field for that one. They look to punch a ticket to the quarterfinals. That's tomorrow at noon. Their coach, Dan Wodicka, will join us. And also going on Sunday, the anniversary celebration of Super Bowl 35, 25 years ago. The silver anniversary of Super Bowl 35. And Sam Adams, former Ravens defensive tackle, is going to check in with us because truth be told, we wanted to find somebody we hadn't talked to in a little while. That's the reason why we're going with Sam Adams today. Like Griffin and I yesterday were sharing numbers. I'm like, who's somebody we haven't had on in a while? Because, for various reasons, we have lots of different guys on. And I don't know what's going on in Sam Adams' world. So we're going to catch up with him. That's the reason why we chose Sam Adams. Straight shoot.
Is he still running the brewery?
I don't believe so. I think he got out of the family business.
Okay.
After 200 years, he called it.
Yeah. Said, I've had enough. Today's show is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Big fight night tomorrow night. Boxing. You got Isaac Cruz taking on Lamont Roach. You've also got UFC 323 with Piotr Yan taking on Merab Davalishvili.
Yeah, you were better yesterday.
All right.
Divalishvili.
Divalishvili.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll get it.
Who's,
We'll get it eventually.
Is Griffin's fighting live?
No,
there?
not on.
I'm
he's
fighting
not
live.
Not doing that. Why pay the big pay-per-view prices? Why would you do that? That's a very silly decision to make. When instead you could be inside Sports and Social watching the fights for free on their 100-foot media wall, and then maybe spend that money instead, like at the FanDuel Sportsbook, win some bets, make more money, or maybe get like a room for the night, delicious food. All of it, drink specials, maybe, play the tables while you're there, make a weekend out of it, and watch the fights for free inside Sports and Social at Live Casino and
Can you bet
Hotel.
on the fights there?
You sure can, Stan. Of course you can bet on the fights there.
I didn't.
Stan, we're going to talk plenty of Ravens Steelers. You and I have not been together since the last move that the Orioles made in order to bring in their new closer,
What,
Ryan.
Andrew Magno?
No, that wasn't the one I was thinking of,
Oh,
to be
okay.
honest with you. Nor was it Mike Schilt that I was thinking
Stan did
of.
all this research on
I
Andrew.
know, right? He
Magno
was
for-
prepared to do an entire segment. And, of course, the winter meetings get underway on Monday. Where are the winter meetings? They're Austin? Is that where they are?
No, they're in Orlando.
Orlando, that's where they are.
Same thing.
Somewhere warm, somewhere I'd like to be, but apparently we don't do that anymore.
Wait, this is perfect weather.
Around these parts.
We go when they're in Washington.
Yeah, well, we went to Nashville, if I remember
that's
correctly.
true, we did.
Go to Nashville.
When are they coming to Baltimore?
I don't know if Baltimore's going to find
Specifically
its way
Towson.
when Baltimore builds a
Towson.
Gaylord. If I had to guess, that's when that's
Were
going
you,
to happen.
were you with me when we Did we walk into that bar together at like 1:30
No,
in the
we
morning?
both went at different times.
But Lasorda was.
I swear to God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my
Yeah,
life.
he
The
was just holding
greatest
court.
moment I've ever seen in my life. I walked in. I went to see a band that night with my
Right.
buddy, Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes, famously now with Howl, Timonium native. He had got me into a place called the Exit Inn. I went to see this incredible folk rock band. Just had a great night. And on the way back, I just really wanted a sweet tea. But I wanted a sweet tea to go. And you had told me about John A's, which
Oh,
was
right, John
near
A's. That's the
our
name of the place.
hotel.
Right.
Which you were very excited to tell John Angelos about. And
Right.
so I was like, I bet John A's would give me a road soda. I bet, because I'm not asking for a beer.
Right.
I just want a to-go sweet tea because I'm in Nashville. That's what I'm feeling right now is I just want a sweet tea. So I go into John A's and I walk up to the bar and I say, hey, man, I got a random question for you. Would you hook me up with a road soda? Would you give me a to-go sweet tea? And the guy looks at me for a second. He's like, that's not a request I've gotten much over the years. I said, I understand, but I'm walking back to the hotel, and that's what I'm looking for. He said, all right, hang on a second. I got a lot going on. And I was like, oh? He's like, yeah. There's a band of old guys playing Will the Circle Be Unbroken.
Right.
And I'm like, this is great. And then he said, and Tommy Lasorda's over there holding court. And I was like, yeah. And I look over, and Tommy Lasorda is covered in barbecue sauce. Tommy Lasorda is eating ribs, and it's in a way perfect. It's exactly what I wanted to see Tommy Lasorda look like in that moment. And I said, can I go say hi? He's like, yeah, don't be a weirdo.
Right.
He's a regular here. I said, all right. So I wandered over and gave greetings to Tommy Lasorda. I was like, this might be the greatest establishment I've ever been in.
I walked up and just quickly said, hey, I got greetings to you from Steve Jeppy back in Baltimore.
Okay,
Because they used to work together on the prostate zeroed stuff than Michael Milken was doing. And how's he doing? How's Steve doing?
What a great place
Yeah.
that was. John A's, man. I wonder if that's still in existence. I would go back tomorrow. In fact, we'll do our winter meetings broadcast from Nashville while the winter meetings are in Orlando.
That would be great.
I'd
That
be
would
in
great.
favor.
From John A's.
Right? I'd
Which
love
John
that.
A. probably owns now.
Might be.
Yeah.
That might be what he's up to. Stan, so the Orioles do bring in a closer, and I know you wrote that you believe that Ryan Helsley will look more like the version of.
Yeah.
It's a very awkward conversation because if you had told us in June of 2024 that next year Ryan Helsley was going to be a Baltimore Oriole, we'd high five vigorously.
Yeah.
We would be thrilled. It's just trying to make sense. I know he said in his his Zoom call this week that he believes that he's figured it out.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I think we're all going to be very happy with Ryan Helsley, but you still need to see it because what happened in New York was alarming for Ryan Helsley.
Well, the good news is the quote-unquote metrics and all the analytics stuff says his stuff is still what it was. You know, I heard all the stuff about predictability of his pitches and the fact that he might have been tipping pitches. I still believe there's something to, and he wasn't having as good a year last year in St. Louis as he had in 24, but the Cardinals weren't having a particularly great season last year. And then he goes to the Mets, and the Mets were still very much alive when they acquired him, but he wasn't used in the role he'd become familiar with, closing games. And it's vastly different when you come in the 7th and 8th innings. That adrenaline isn't quite what it is in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
So I think there's a real good chance he's back to what he was. You know, this is not a case where we got Craig Kimbrell and he had, you know, he was running on empty, so to speak.
No, I don't think it's that. I mean, I still, it's one of those, I got to see it. There's a small part of me that says, like, maybe you have a plan B going into the season just in case. But I have reason to believe that this is a better option. Yeah, it's certainly a better option than Craig Kimbrell was at that point in his career. I am in agreement.
And it's interesting. The price is very similar. We got Kimbrell for 1 year at 13, and we're paying this guy 14.
Yep. And this is the other part that I've heard from some Orioles fans who said, look, I'm not opposed to Ryan Helsley. I just wonder if what they're telling us is they're still not going to do multi-year deals. And maybe this one proves to be a multi-year deal, but to the point, like, it's a multi-year deal if it doesn't – if he's the best version of Ryan Helsley, it's not a multi-year deal.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't appear to be on the face of it a multi-year deal. But I don't think this is a question of the Orioles didn't want to do a multi-year deal. I'm not saying they were going to go 4 years on him, but I think they would have been happy to get him on 2 years flat with maybe an option on a third year. I think it's Helsley who wanted the opportunity to opt out.
Reprove yourself and go say that you're a top closer. I have no issue with that. It's just that the first two moves they've made have both been short-term guys.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the part that, like, everyone wants to believe that when David Rubenstein says we don't have any financial constraints, that means there's going to be significant big-time moves. And where we are between those two things, what the reality is going to be at the winter meetings next week, will the Orioles ultimately be a player for –
Valdez.
Right.
And,
I keep coming back to my guess is probably not. Like, I think it's more likely that maybe they're in play for a Pablo Lopez in a trade. Like, that's the way that they go about doing their business. And if they do that and it works out, then we're not going to care. But it would be nice to see. I think everyone would like to feel as though the Orioles are competing, maybe not on the same level, but at least playing the same game as other teams are.
I'm going to take them at face value, and they were careful to say that, hey, we're not the Dodgers, and we're not going crazy. But I see no reason why the Orioles won't be nearing a $200 million payroll this year. And that means that they got a fair amount of money left to spend.
It certainly would have a whole lot.
They were at about $1.60 last year. They got a lot of money coming off. And I just happen to think that they're going to spend significantly on a couple pitchers and maybe a hitter.
I'm probably going to write about it this weekend because I can't write Sunday night after the Ravens game because I've got an event. So I might be writing ahead of that and might do kind of a winter meetings primer. My opinion at the moment is I have no issue with the two moves they've made so far. But I still don't think today they're as good as they were mid-2024 when things started to fall apart. So when it was still good.
We've got a huge unknown in there, and that is AR.
Of course,
Adley
right?
Rutschman.
And like that.
To me, he's a total wild card. I think they're optimistic that they can get him back to what he was and maybe simplifying the hitting coach situation a little bit. I don't know that you need 3 hitting coaches. I think they're down to 2. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm not overly optimistic that he's going to be what he was, but he's certainly young enough to get back to being a 280, 24 home run, 85 RBI guy.
I mean, if that ends up being the case, it'll go obviously a massively long way. Yeah. But at the moment, the team that was at that point, maybe you could say you're swapping out like an Anthony Santander for Taylor Ward. Where Taylor Ward at his best wasn't as good as Anthony Santander was. You're swapping out Felix Bautista for Ryan Helsley. Ryan Helsley at his best was close to Felix Bautista, but not quite as good as Felix Bautista at his best. That team, as it wasn't going to be good enough. They needed to get better in order to win a World Series. You got to get better just to get back to that.
Yeah.
And that's where, I have no issue with the two moves that have been made so far, but there still need to be serious moves. It can't just be, maybe go out and add one more kind of major league pitch. There need to be serious moves.
Really serious. They need to get one real serious pitcher and one really qualified
major league starter. Yeah. They need 100%. They need a top-ish of the rotation and another legitimate major league starter at this point. And I would still argue one more
bat.
Yeah. One more real, with the caveat of or one more serious center fielder.
Yeah.
If the trade-off was a couple people brought up if it was really just $7 million for 1 year, why couldn't the Orioles have been the team that brought back Cedric
Mullins?
In that context, yes, I'm with you. If it's really just 1 year and $7 million, then I probably would have been okay with the Orioles bringing back Cedric Mullins at that number. They don't normally do those types of things.
They don't seem like they bring people back.
Yeah, once they've moved on,
Mike Elias.
They kind of move on.
I can't argue really with that, as a whole. And we haven't seen the entirety of Mike Elias's career to know that he'll never bring somebody back,
No.
But it doesn't look like that.
To this point, that hasn't really been something that they've been willing or interested in doing. The
reason I think the pitchers are going to come, and I could be totally wrong on this, but who are we trading for, somebody like Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan? I see the Mets are in. The Mets probably have real prospects that they can give up.
I don't think Joe Ryan's happening. More and more. I don't think.
But he may get traded
because of a bidding war, or just because of.
Well, I think the Twins are going to say Joe Ryan only cost them $6 million.
Right.
If you want to get Joe Ryan, you're going to have to give an organization-changing type of price.
Well, suppose the Mets want Byron Buxton and Joe Ryan and have the package to put it together. But who do the Orioles have to put a package
Not for Joe Ryan.
together?
Not for Joe Ryan.
Right. You were doing a holiday, right?
I don't think they have it for who would the Twins want from our farm system for Pablo Lopez?
So this would be an interesting. We talked about Pablo Lopez a little bit last week.
Or Sandy Alcantara.
You have to hope that there's another team that thinks that Kobe Mayo is legitimately very close to being a 40 home run bat.
Right.
That the way they view him is we think that he might be a 40 home run bat right now.
Right.
That because it would have to be. So Kobe Mayo would have to be the center. To Griffin's point, if it was Joe Ryan, it would have to involve Jackson Holiday. And I mean, like, come on, you can't do that.
Yeah. That's my basic point. Is there is not, for as good a job as Elias did initially, using those high draft picks to get some talent. There's not a cluster of talent anymore down there.
No, the only guy right now that's a legitimate tradable commodity is Mayo.
Right.
And I'm not saying I want to trade Kobe Mayo, but he's the one guy that you already kind of have a weird at-bat thing going on, and particularly if you're going to bring in one more bat this offseason, figuring out where all these at-bats are coming from does end up becoming a problem ultimately. Right. You're probably still going to need to bring in a third catcher, too, on top of everything else. Like, I
still think they need another left-handed reliever.
Oh,
somebody
absolutely.
Like a Hobie Milner.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I agree that they need another one.
Pomerantz, somebody like that.
So I say all that to say that that's the one guy. That's your tradable commodity is Kobe Mayo, and then the lower level arms. But then you get back to are you ever gonna actually develop your own arms?
That they've got that great hitter that they've tendered now. Ryan Mountcastle. He's a great hitter.
You do that
to be here.
But I get why
I didn't realize he was a great hitter.
Yeah,
but Mike Elias says it.
I understand that. I also understand them doing that to me only as the insurance policy for a Kobe Mayo trade.
Right.
If we're going to trade Kobe Mayo, then let's have Ryan Mountcastle as an option. Hopefully, if you trade Kobe Mayo, it's because you're also going to be signing a bat. And then you don't need to have that option. But I understand keeping it as an option because of that.
I mean, 2 years, if you're going to trade Mayo, do you like the idea of keeping Mountcastle, or would 2 years at $24 million for O'Hearn make more sense?
I would prefer, 100% I would
O'Hearn's
prefer
a
that.
legitimate hitter. And I don't refer to him as a great hitter.
No, he's not a game changer,
but to
right?
Put that in front of us, that we think Ryan Mountcastle's a great hitter. He's a .253 career hitter.
I understand. You're
better than your average.
Yeah, right.
Define great.
Stan, you're right. I just, of all the things that I get worked up about, that one's not going to be the one. You're 100% right. I'm not arguing with you. Yeah. It's an insane thing to say, but I also will never be mad at a general manager saying, "Look, man, like the guy's on our team, so I'm going to try to say nice." I'm going to try.
He can come back to being closer to what he was.
That would be a better thing to say.
Exactly.
You're right. I agree that would be a better thing to say.
I mean, maybe that's why the Orioles aren't where they should be, because that's Mike's assessment of greatness.
I hope that's not the case. I hope that it's
maybe he's like misfiring.
Do they make a move next week?
Yeah, I think they'll do something.
Make a prediction? Bold prediction. What's their move next week?
I think that they will come out of the meetings with a left-handed relief pitcher.
Okay.
And one of the pitchers will come off. I don't know who it's going to be though.
A starter.
Yeah,
they will have acquired either a sign or a trade for a starter, a legitimate major league starter next week.
I think they need, and the player I really want is Schwarber, because Schwarber really excites the fan base. I mean, that is a player.
That's not Taylor Ward had 136 home run season. Hopefully, you're putting 45 home runs in your lineup.
Yep.
I completely get it.
And just gets the fans buzzed. I think this fan base is dying for an infusion of a move that really excites us tremendously.
All right. It is a Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Chief Grand Poobah, Stan the Fan Charles, is here in studio with us. This Sunday is Ravens Steelers, but it's not just Ravens Steelers. It's also an exciting day because the Super Bowl 35 champions are going to be back in town celebrating, would you believe, 25 years since the miraculous first Super Bowl title for the Baltimore Ravens. Joining us now, here to tell us about it, a member of that team, a defensive lineman, and a great guy. He is former Raven, Super Bowl champion, Mr. Sam Adams, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Sam, it's Glenn and Stan here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's an exciting time, and I appreciate the love.
Man, Sam, take me through, right? Take me back to, because it's been a long time since we caught up. You're in Seattle. Your agent says, hey, they're interested in Baltimore. The Ravens had only existed for a couple of years, and those years hadn't been great. But there were some young pieces. Maybe did you just take it because, hey, it's an offer, I'm going to take an offer? Or did you see that there was maybe a foundation there? Did you have any idea how close this organization might be when you arrived?
Man, let me tell you, I actually have a story about that. My wife and I've been married for a little bit, and my wife's from Seattle, Tacoma, and she hadn't been away from home before, and I asked her because Mike Holmgren was difficult, and I said, listen, I'll put up with him if you want, but, I prefer to get on the road. But I will sign here. I will stay in Seattle if you're cool with that. If you know, baby, I love you. We'll go wherever you go. We'll do whatever you do. I said, okay, are you sure? Because I'm going to go get on the road. So I scheduled visits with Green Bay and Baltimore, and I went to Baltimore first. When I got to Baltimore, I looked at the tape. I listened to the people. I fell in love with the team. And after all the interviews with Ozzie and Brian and just watching the film and then talking to Rex Ryan, the D-line coach, I called the wifey and I said, hey, listen, I love it here, and we're going to win a Super Bowl. Wow. I mean, she's like, what? How do you know that? I said, listen, these guys these jokers are flying around on defense. They're physical, they're aggressive, and they all have my temperament. And when you have 11 people like that, you're going to be able to do great things. But I hadn't seen a defense that flies around like that. And if I'm able to, be added to that, it will transform the entire defense.
Man.
He said, okay, if that's the case. So I went back to Ozzie. They actually did not get my numbers done that I wanted them to be at. And my agent was like, they're not going to do it. So Ozzie tried to get me. Now the funny thing is, the assistant general manager was actually my father's agent when he played in the NFL. So I had family connections there. And so they left me sitting in the office for a little bit. So I went back to the hotel. So they called me and they were like, wait, where are you at? I said, well, I'm at the hotel. You all only get the numbers done. So, I came back to the hotel. That night, Mike Sherman called and set up the visit and the meeting with him the next day in Green Bay. Sent me my plane ticket. Mike Sherman was with me. He was the offensive line coach at Texas A&M, so I had a relationship with him. So we got the deal done, and I told him, done deal, I'm on my way. Next morning, I get up, take a taxi cab, I go to the airport. I check into the airport. My bags are getting on the plane, and I get a phone call from my father's agent. He said, where you at? I said, I'm at the airport. I'm leaving. I hadn't heard from you all. What are you doing? What's going on? Yada, yada, yada. Then he said, do not get on that plane. I said, are you kidding? What are we talking about here? Don't get on the plane. So I sat for a second. I said, listen, y'all got till this time to get, because I'm getting on the plane. He got off the phone. She spoke to Ozzie. They spoke to Brian and Art. Got it done. Called me back. Said the deal is done. Don't get on the plane. I said, all right, come and get me. Man. My bags went to Green Bay. I went back to the facility, signed the deal. I said, hey, man, y'all gonna have to go get my bags because they're on their way to Green Bay. And signed the deal. That year we won the Super Bowl. I made a good decision, but you could actually see it. You could see it in the culture that they had built. You could see it in the coaching staff. I mean, Matt Cavanaugh, actually, the offensive coordinator, played with my father in New England. So I had family connection in Baltimore, but also I could see the strength in the coaching staff. I could see that everyone, from the first person that greets you when you walk into the building, all the way up to Mr. Modell, bless his soul, were all singing from the same hymn on the same page. But even more so, that defense, I could tell, was going to be special. I didn't think that I would transcend them. I just felt like it was something that I wanted to be a part of, and it fit me perfectly. So, long story short,
Yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, right.
The rest is history.
Sam, I got a question about that defense, but before I ask that question, that night, did you call your wife and explain that I'm going to Green Bay? I think we can win a Super Bowl in Green Bay?
Heck no. I called my wife and told her go and get the snow blowers and the coat. We about to go freeze our butts off in Green Bay.
Hey, a question about that defense. We can talk about it from here to Tuesday, but the mindset in that huddle about other teams running the football against you and Goose and Ray Lewis up the middle there, what was that like to have a mindset and the talent to back up the mindset?
Well, it's funny because it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a couple of us. It was all of us.
Rob.
And it was Rob Burnett.
Yep.
I mean, McCrary.
Yep.
Bullware. Jamie Sharper. But even more so, the safeties with Kim Herring, Woodson. See, with when you have a good run, when you have a good front seven, when you have a good run defense, you have to have strong safeties that can come and get in the box, that have the backside or wherever, the scheme is, to be able to come down and help, plug some of those holes. Because let's face it, at that time, the conference was running black and blue, banging, Bettis, Cordell Stewart, all those jokers. And, it wasn't a pass-happy league like it is now. So you had to be physical. You had to be able to, attack. Well, our mindset, starting with Marvin Lewis and what he did out was not just let's read and let's go sideline to sideline. We're going to finish. We're going to hold our gaps. We're going to let the linebackers run free, and we're going to try to knock out any and everything that moves. And it was a mindset that he didn't have to instill in us. And that's the genius of Ozzie Newsome. He went and got guys that had that mentality. He went and got coaches that had that mentality. Every single coach on that defensive staff was aggressive. And that whittled down to their players. We were all aggressive. We were all of the mind that it is utterly disrespectful for you to run the football on us. You better pass it, and when you do, we're going to try to kill your quarterback. But you are not getting anything on the ground. Because we believe that on the defensive line, believe that it was an honor to be able to rush the passer, to be able to get, that golden goose and knock that quarterback out, because we stopped the run. But running the football is man on man. Running the football is who's the king of the hill. Who is the guy? Who runs these trenches? And when we come to town and when we step foot on that field, the Baltimore Ravens are the king of the hill. And how dare you even put that in your mind that you're going to walk across our street in our neighborhood without being completely and utterly destroyed.
Sam Adams, I could just, if we just did a show one day and it was just me listening to you say that, it would be the greatest show we've ever done in the history of this show. I still get goosebumps.
Too late for a best of quote?
I still get goosebumps hearing you do that. Sam Adams with us here on GCR. Sam, we know that season obviously was not perfect, and maybe there's something to be said about you guys arriving, this celebration being this weekend, as the current Ravens are stuck at 6-6. Everybody knows you guys went through the stretch of 5 weeks where there were no touchdowns being scored, and it certainly wasn't on your guys' side of the ball, but it still impacted the team, and we had the goof on the roof and the whole deal, right? Like, it was a tough time.
Yeah.
How did you guys stay together through that? How did you deal with that adversity and from a group that, was largely unproven? Like, you guys had never been tested in the playoffs. How did you guys find that will when the adversity hit during the course of the season?
It wasn't any adversity for us because that's not my job. My job is to dominate on defense. And it takes time for people to gel on offense. I mean, it just does. We had injury. We had all kind of stuff happen. So what? Because they're not scoring points, I got to stop doing my job? Heck no. That's the more for me. We're on the field, and if we're on the field, then we have a chance. We know that we have a chance to win because guess what? We can score on defense. We can take the ball away. We can give them better field position. We can give them more opportunities. You don't look in the mirror and say, "Oh, woe is me." You look in the mirror and say, "Hey, it's all on us." Until they get their stuff together, they themselves are a family. They're part of the family. They're part of the team. I'm not going to look at you and say, "Hey, man, you got to pull your weight." I never believed in that. We've never believed in that. We didn't play like that. What we did do was give them more because they needed more at that time. Yeah, they weren't scoring and they didn't, we had all those different things happening. Guess what? We started knocking quarterbacks out. We're taking the ball away more. We're giving them more opportunities. They turned it around, and then we averaged like 34 points a game going into the playoffs, and we went on a run. But it takes those type of runs because this is a marathon. Things are going to happen during the season. Things are going to happen that are out of your control during the season. It's not in our control to go and score points and perform for offense and special teams. But we went out and we played defense. We dominated on special teams. We gave them more opportunities, and they started taking advantage of it. We started running the ball better. We became more physical. Practices picked up because we were more physical, and we had the intent of controlling the clock, getting first downs, continuing drives. We had a different mindset, play by play. We had a structure that we wanted to follow and execute through Brian's leadership, and we were able to go out and win a Super Bowl. And I also want to make another comment. They talk about, you won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer was a freaking first-round draft pick. Trent Dilfer is a Super Bowl champion. Trent Dilfer was excellent. And I'm going to tell you something else. Tony Banks played well. I mean, he had some
the Jacksonville
that
game.
happened.
Yeah.
Tony Banks did make some plays for us. So everybody has a point in the time where your number is called. And when your number is called, you got to go out and you got to execute and you got to do what you need to do to help us win. I wouldn't change a thing. And I don't look at it as trial and tribulation. I look at it as football. I look at it as life. In life you have things that happen, but you're going to just lay down and not go out and attack it the next day. Yeah, we're attacking it on every opportunity that we got. And with that mindset, we were able to have some success, and we were able to overcome everything that happened either on offense, defense, or special teams. So I can tell you we weren't perfect on defense either. Shoot, those New York Jets came in there and put some yards on us and a bunch of points. Jacksonville put some points on us. We had a faux pas in Miami. They came out and put it on us. That was our first loss, and they weren't very good. So, offense, all we need is 3 points, and then you can win 2 points actually, and you can win a football game. Yeah, you can win a football game. So the fact of the matter is, if we want to win and they not scoring, then hey, don't let them score. So there's a lot of ways to look at it, but the good thing about it is we all had the mindset of, hey, it's on. I didn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even know I didn't even think about the streak when they were not scoring. Hey, we got a field goal here, we got a field goal there. And I look up at the end of the game, and damn, it's 9-7. But the fact of the matter is, we won, and we lost some close ones. I think that when you're close, then you need to do something to get over the hump, and they were able to do that. And then the rest is history. We're Super Bowl champions, and I walk around with a big fat ring on my finger. But even more so, something they can't take away from us. We were able to deliver Baltimore its first Super Bowl, and we wear that badge of honor for the rest of our lives.
Hey, Sam, jump forward to the Super Bowl, and at the end of the day, I don't think it would have made any difference if Ray Lewis hadn't made that play. But I think it was like the second or third play from scrimmage by the Giants. I think they handed the ball. Was it the Tiki Barber?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ray Lewis, I don't think they knew what they were up against, the speed that defense had, but Ray Lewis – I mean, there was no way that Tiki Barber was going to get around him. But do you remember the play I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember the play you're talking about. It was actually, they were backed up, and I actually got cut on that play. I couldn't believe it. The guard, Ron Stone, he's an all-pro as well. And that joker knocked me off my feet. I got back up, and I started chasing. And by the time I got there, Ray had already knocked him out. But also, he had to get around Jamie. Jamie was there.
Yep.
Woodson was there. Chris McAllister was there. So it wasn't just Ray. Ray was hunting him down. He's running for his life, and then he runs into a brick wall of 5 other jokers.
Right.
And by the time I got there, most of us were there. And so I believe that they were shocked at the fact that the speed of the game was even faster than they had anticipated. You can't really, unless you really are going against it, and unless you have played against us before, you can't really emulate the speed of the game. We're headhunting, trying to get to that ball. And that's what attracted me to come to Baltimore, was that it was a mindset of, typically coaches got to practice, we got to practice your angles and run into the ball and this, that, and the other. For us, they didn't even have to preset. It was almost like disrespectful for them to even say that. We were all going to get to that ball, period.
Sam, my last question for you is, and I know Glenn's got another one for you, but how often do you think of Goose, and do you have one story about Goose?
Oh, man. One story?
Well, I mean, I know you got 100.
What about one that can be sanitized that kids would be able to hear? Like, what about if we limited it to that? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you know what? It was fun. It was fun to play with Tony. He's a character, obviously, and it was a joy to be around. But I do have a story. So that after that first year, after we won the Super Bowl, that offseason, all the coaches, that people started looking at him to get him jobs.
Yep.
And apparently, so Marvin was up for a job, and I think he went to
Washington.
He went to Washington,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Well, he went and did an interview in
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
So he did an interview in Buffalo, and we got the peanut gallery, and during stretch time at the beginning of practice, where we're all sitting there. Friday is going through the stretch routine, and we're stretching, but we're all also talking and messing around and, picking at people. And so I'm laying down. I think I was stretching my quad, and I'm laying down, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey, Marvin, how's it feel to tell your wife that she got to go get rid of all those snow blowers and she's not going to Buffalo?" Man, I almost died laughing.
Oh.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he had the nerve, because I think they chose someone else. It wasn't the fact that he didn't get the job. They chose someone else. And so It was funny because he's picking at Marvin. The entire team just bust out laughing, and we had to stop stretching because everybody was laughing and rolling in tears at Saragusa picking at Marvin. It was hilarious.
That's awesome. Oh, it's awesome.
Great
Sam,
story.
what are you up to these days?
Oh man, I got a lot of things that we're doing. We're looking at starting a racing team.
Wow.
My kids have all graduated now. My youngest played this last year, and they had some playoff stuff that they were looking at doing. My daughter just got back. She's a professional basketball player. I do some coaching, and I have, we had a lot of business interests of different projects that we're doing. We're doing some stuff in the Caribbean and real estate and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to stay busy.
Sam, I hope we will we will be forever grateful. And when we use the word miracle, I mean, as you know, this was a city that had no team, and you guys delivered us a Super Bowl, and we will never forget that. It was one of the great moments that this city has ever had, and we will be eternally grateful. Happy anniversary. Always appreciate you taking the time, and let's do this again real soon, all right?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And just so you know, we appreciate Baltimore, and they took us in. They made us feel at home, and Baltimore, it will always have a special place in all of our hearts.
Man, that's
All right.
awesome to hear that.
Have
Sam
fun
Adams.
this weekend.
Yeah, right. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate you.
Thank you all for the opportunity. Y'all have a blessed day.
The great Sam Adams. That
Great
was great stuff. 100%. Man, when he's talking about they're not – I'm ready to run through a wall now still.
Any chance to still get that in the best of?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if we
Maybe
can –
online.
Don't forget, our best of issue is just a couple of, really at this point, days away is what we can describe it as. A little bit more than a week before it hits your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. And you can always read it online for free at PressBoxOnline.com. But that best of issue with our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year and celebrating the top people, performances, and moments of the year is coming. So make sure you get out and get that here shortly. We come back in. Johns Hopkins football trying to make a late charge to be recognized among the best of 2025. And their head coach, Dan Wodicka, will join us next. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Looking for Baltimore's premier waterfront dining experience? Head to Nick's Fish House, located in the Baltimore Peninsula. Enjoy crabs all year long, plus happy hour Monday through Thursday from 3 to 6. Planning a celebration? From rehearsal dinners to corporate crab feasts, Nick's is the spot to make it unforgettable. And the fun doesn't stop there. Live music fills the air every Thursday through Sunday. Check out the full lineup at nicksfishhouse.com. Nick's, it's where Baltimore comes to eat, drink, and play by the water.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Friday edition of the program. Stan's in studio. Stan, we were talking about Ryan Helsley earlier. You were talking about Ryan Helsley this week.
Luke and I were able to grab a coup in getting Katie Wu.
Look at you. Look
See
at
what I
you.
did there?
I see it.
Yeah. We got Katie Wu of The Athletic, and she's a really rising star in the baseball writing world now. She's not just a Cardinals beat writer. She's also
doing national,
national stuff. And she had a great deal of familiarity with Ryan Helsley, Mike Schild, Tyler O'Neill, and talked a little bit about the relationship. And I think it may have played a part in signing Helsley here in Baltimore, because I'm sure the money being offered was similar to a couple other places. But Andrew Kittredge and he were pretty tight their time in St. Louis.
So you can find that show right now by going to facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows brought to you by the Costas Inn and the new Costas Inn open in Timonium, a great place to host your holiday parties. Going to be a party and a festive atmosphere tomorrow at Homewood Field, round of 16 in the NCAA playoffs, and an in-state rivalry. Johns Hopkins taking on Salisbury, looking to punch a ticket to the national quarterfinals. Joining us now on GCR, he is the head coach of the Blue Jays, Coach Dan Wodicka, with us here on the program. Coach, it's Glenn and Stan. It's great to chat with you. Congratulations on another great season, and thank you for taking the time for us.
Hey, guys, good to chat with you again, and really appreciate it. It's been a fun ride, hoping to keep this thing going.
Coach, take me through. This has been going for a little while, right? Basically, this is what you know is success at Johns Hopkins. But what to you was unique about this team? And I know there was one blemish in there that, you would like. But, what was it about this team specifically that has led you to this place playing in the round of 16?
Yeah, I think what's really special about this team is it starts with the leadership that we have with our seniors, with our captains specifically. We're really fortunate, with Bay Harvey unfortunately suffering, an injury early in the season last year. For him to come back as a graduate student, I think has really helped, not only obviously on the field and everything that he can do, but off the field, being truly our team leader. And I think specifically with this team, I've just seen absolute trust in everybody. And that's not only with the coaching staff, having absolute trust and, hey, the game plans and what's working that week and our plan for that week, but specifically just the trust of the guys on the team. And every guy that is out there, they know they just need to do their 111 on the field, and the other 10 guys are going to do their job. So we've really just been sticking to that mantra, and it's had a lot of success here this year. And as I said, hopefully we can keep this thing going.
Dan, you were at Hopkins and had the opportunity to play for Jim Margraf. What did he mean to your coaching career?
I don't know how much time we have, but we're almost everything, to be honest with you. He was such a huge figure in my life, and not just my life, but, my teammates and now my best friends, that he's done so much for this football program, specifically in terms of the on-field success, but also just every life that he's touched and continued on to guys doing unbelievable things, once they graduate here. And I realized, kind of during my playing career here, when we all were, trying to figure out what to do, in the middle of college and figure out what our next step was. And I realized that I wanted to, model my life kind of off of him, and really have the impact on young men like he had on me. And I did not think in my wildest dreams, hey, I'd be sitting in this chair right now by any means. But he's obviously been a special person in my life, and definitely I know the guys here, the players. It's kind of strange now, that all the players on the team, unfortunately, never had a chance to meet Coach Margraf. But they all feel like they know him because he is still running through this program. I'm sure they get tired of how many of the Coach Margraf sayings that I say over and over, just everything that he's taught us and built this foundation for this program that it is today.
Coach, you brought up your quarterback, Bay Harvey. I guess twofold. One, is this the thing now? Is everybody just going to go to Switzerland looking for quarterbacks now that you've seen the success he's had? But then two, you make the decision to come back after the injury, but now, do you sense how personal it is for him, wanting to lead you guys a step even further and towards a national championship this year?
Yeah, no. Going off that first part, we talk in recruiting all the time that we're scouring the country to find the best young men that are perfect fits here for Hopkins football. But I guess that's not true. We scour the world to find those guys. And yeah, absolutely. I'm just so proud of Bay and just so happy for him that he was able to have this season, just to really go out on his own terms. And I think if you ask him, he's one of the most humble guys in the world. That wasn't for any personal reasons, but he knows just how special of a group that we had coming back. And he really wants to, like you said, take this thing to the next level and really leave his mark on this program. So he's been unbelievable, and as you can imagine, such a mature young man. It's absolutely insane. I mean, right now he's taking graduate school classes at the Carey Business School. He's also working part-time at Constellation Energy downtown in Baltimore, and also having one of the best seasons in Division III football. So he's definitely, I joke all the time that he has his life put together better than I do, I feel like. So it's really great having him. And as I said, having this last season for him has been really fun to watch.
Coach, we bring up a year ago, and you all make that incredible run to the semifinals, and then play an unbelievable game against Mount Union if I remember right, in the snow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
What did this group, the guys that are back, what did they learn from that experience, and how has it sharpened them for this run in the NCAA playoffs?
Yeah, no, I think last year was huge for the guys and just the program as a whole. Just because we dealt with just so many different things last year in terms of, not just Bay, but different injuries popping up. And I think we all found out, hey, there's 1,001 ways to win a football game. We just got to find the one way to do it. And we're in a lot of close games last year. And I think that's really helped us this year especially with the tough schedule that we've had. We've had one of the top 3 toughest schedules in the country this year, and then knew that, hey, we'd be in a lot of tight competitive games. And what I've seen is just a lot of poise with our guys out there, knowing, hey, whatever the score is at halftime, hey, let's just go win the second half and find a way to win this thing. And I think it's also showed us that, when you get into the playoffs here, hey, the margins are so thin. And that goes both ways, in terms of just every team is really, really good when you get to this moment. So they know, hey, got to be on P's and Q's and making big plays in big situations. Those are going to be the difference makers to advance on to the next round.
I know, it's not – Johns Hopkins is recruiting a different type of football player. I understand that it's not – when I bring up the local aspect of this, I understand it's not maybe quite the same as other places where there are local rivalries where it's all the same kids. But there are inevitably some, right? There's undoubtedly someone who's playing for Salisbury that wanted to be at Hopkins. There's no doubt that there are local kids, and this means a little bit more for them. And obviously, what it would mean to them to end your guys' season. What unique challenges does Salisbury present, and the nature of it being sort of an in-state rivalry?
Yeah, no, there's a lot, and it's just been honestly, this is the 4th time we're playing Salisbury in the last 5 years, and the 2nd time in the playoffs here, and it's been a privilege to be on the field with them because of the program that Coach Wood runs over there has been truly unbelievable, year in and year out, just having a ton of success in the regular and postseason. So it's definitely going to be a challenge on Saturday. Their offense poses a lot of different challenges, obviously with running the triple option. That's something that, you don't see too often, but they're really dynamic. I mean, they got a lot of different playmakers that can make big plays. And one thing that's unique about them is they're not afraid to throw the football as well. out of that triple option offense. And so our guys, we were able to play the triple option last week against Springfield College, but they do some different things, and so we've been prepping for it, and it's definitely been keeping me up at night sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you in terms of how to stop this thing. But our guys, it's just been such great games that we've played over these last 5 years. So our guys are definitely excited for another tough test.
Coach, my question about Coach Margraf, it elicited an answer that was kind of perfect and what I kind of guessed you would say. But at a certain point, Dan Wodicka wants to make his own mark. Where are you different than Coach Margraf and how you make your own mark?
Oh, that's a great question. Or do you not
want to be different at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I wouldn't mind not being different. He had an unbelievable career. Yeah. But I think, what was great, just Coach Margraf obviously laying the foundation. I mean, he's built this program up to what it is today. And it's just been such a privilege to see it continue to grow. And it's just like running a football program. It's just like, personal life. It's just like running, a company or an organization. It's just like so many people have had to work so hard to get us to this point where back when I first got here as a player, hey, it was, getting to the playoffs. Hey, that was the big accomplishment, and seeing whatever happens from there. And then now just, we've worked so hard over those last, 15, 20 years to get to a point, hey, let's take this thing to the next level. Let's continue, to make quarterfinal appearances. Let's make semifinal appearances and try to get over that hurdle to a national championship. So it's been an absolute blessing to lead these young men. And I'm trying to take, all those core principles and keep those core principles that Coach Margraf had, and just continue to see this thing grow and continue to build this thing from within.
Coach Dan Wodicka, Johns Hopkins, they're hosting Salisbury tomorrow at noon at Homewood Field. NCAA round of 16 quarterfinal spot on the line. Coach, we wish you the absolute best of luck tomorrow. We'd like to be doing this, having this conversation again here in a few weeks as you're getting ready to play for a national championship. So let's go make that happen. Thank you for hopping on with us this morning.
I really appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate everything that you do, and thank you so much.
That's, of course, Coach Dan Wodicka from Johns Hopkins getting ready for a big NCAA playoff game tomorrow. And speaking of college football, we are once again doing our 50-50 bowl pick'em contest. $20 buy-in. Half the pot will go to the winner. The other half of the pot goes to Helping Up Mission. And a lot of the regulars got in yesterday. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I don't want to have to hassle people. So thank you to a lot of the regulars. But I want to keep going because I'd like to get this up to 50 spots. We get to 50 spots. And some people went above and beyond, right? Like John in Little Rock. And by the way, yeah, John, I agree with you. Sam Adams, phenomenal. What a great guest he was this morning. John said, here's my buy-in, and then here's $30 more for you to just put towards what you're doing for Helping Out Mission. Love you, brother. Appreciate you for that. I don't need that from everybody, although I wouldn't mind it. I just need you to get in for the bowl pick'em. That's what I need. And you could end up winning money. You could come out on top in this. But it's $20. Venmo, Glenn-Clark. PayPal, Glenn Clark 180. Cash App, Glenn Clark Radio. Send $20. And I'll send you the link to get into the bowl pick'em. We will know all of the games by Sunday. As I always tell people, when you tell me, it's not really college football, not really my thing, no one knows anything.
Well,
no, stop it, about these games. Nothing other than maybe the playoff games. Like, you might have some idea of what's the other games. You could be the starting quarterback for some of these teams. Like, we don't know who's playing, who's on the rosters. That's the nice part about bowl season, is you're just guessing for the most part. So when you say, I don't really know anything about college football, welcome to the club. That puts you on par with everybody else. But what we want you to do is get in $20, half the pot to the winner, half the pot goes towards helping up mission. So get in today, please. It'd be wonderful if
So I could win $500.
that's the idea. That's the concept. If we get 50 people in, if we only get 20 people in, I don't think we're pretty safely
going
gonna.
to 50. We're going to.
I'd like to hope.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get half the pot if you win. But I need you to sign up. I would love if come Monday I don't have to mention it again. But if we're not full, I'm gonna be an asshole about it. I'm gonna be very annoying. We're doing this. We do it every year. Please help us fill this
Do we
bowl.
not fill it up?
No, we almost always fill it up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
I don't.
Let's not wait.
I don't want to be sitting here next
Can
Friday.
people buy more than one?
You can have as many spots as you want in the bowl
I'm
pick'em.
going to take all 50 spots.
Well, then we're done. Look at how that worked out. Look at how that worked out. I think you got a great shot of winning. I'm just going to tell you.
That's what I'm doing. I get
think you got a great
$500.
chance.
Wow.
Well, now it cost you $1,000, but like,
It cost me $1,000.
yeah, because the
I thought it
$500
was $20.
Yes, and half of it goes to the winner, and half of it goes to helping up
charity,
mission.
though. It's good karma's coming your way, Stan.
I thought it was $20 to enter.
Yes, it is.
So I'll take all the entries.
I understand, but still half of the money is going to helping up mission.
I got you.
Yeah, we can't get around.
I'm
that.
going to take two blocks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
I'm
So-
going to pay you the way I paid you from 3 weeks ago. Who was the guy? I
Oh,
told you
AJ, yeah.
I owe you
Well, yeah.
$25 for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that 25.
I know. That's why I'm bringing it up. I just remembered.
All right. It's all right. We got a lot. We did go out and get
So
lots
you
of breakfast bars.
$65.
I feel like we're
How do
gonna
I know
start.
that's going to go back to AJ?
Well, that's already been taken care of. We already bought those breakfast bars. You didn't see what the back of my car looked like? Holy smokes! I was afraid if I had gotten pulled over that day, I was really afraid of the questions that I was going to be asked. Sir, do you know there's 3,000 boxes of Nutri-Grain bars in your back seat?
Where'd you steal those from?
Like, what the hell happened there? I was very worried about how that conversation was going to go.
I promise you I will bring a check
All right.
next week.
All right.
$65.
All right. Well, then we'll let you in, but Griffin's in charge now. Griffin's going to have to hassle you about it.
And is this the bowl games?
Yes, you pick all of the bowl games. All you
I
got to
thought
do.
it was the NFL.
All you got to do. All you got to do is pick the winners.
That's where I'm an expert.
Oh, that's when you turn into an expert.
Yeah.
Come back in. We will get a tidbit. We will get Tubular and Charlie Batch, former Steelers quarterback and game day post-game analyst for them.
It's great that I'm around to wish him a happy birthday.
That'll happen when we come back in. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Get in the game with Volo Sports. With over 15 sports to choose from, join a league or grab a Volo membership for discounted play, free daily pickups, fitness classes, and exclusive events. But the best part? A portion of every league fee helps the Volo Kids Foundation provide free sports to over 5,000 kids across Baltimore City each year. Don't miss out. Early pricing for the winter season ends December 12th. Final registration deadline is January 15th. Sign up now at volosports.com/Baltimore.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Don Marcus profiles new Maryland Athletic Director Jim Smith, breaking down the challenge he faces in his new role and the unique background he brings to the job. Also inside, Brandon Schwartzberg takes an in-depth look at Orioles outfielder Dylan Beavers. And we meet college basketball players from all the programs around the state before the season gets underway. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region. And starting this month, you can find us at Baltimore area High's Dairy Store locations. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Get ready to hit the ultimate holiday jackpot at Live Casino during the live action $1 million giveaway. Every Friday through December 26th, we'll draw 25 lucky cash winners, but only one winner each Friday will advance to the final rounds on December 26th, where you could win $1 million in just 3 spins. Come make your million, only at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, winding down for a Friday edition of the program. Don't forget, there's still 5 more championship games to be played this weekend in Annapolis. And you can find out everything you need to know about all 5 of those games by going to countysports.zone, which is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. All right. I guess now it looks like Penn State's pivoting towards Matt Campbell to be their next coach, which honestly is fine. That's, as I've said all along, it's as well as they were going to do.
Well, until Iowa State comes up with that.
Right, ends up there's another cookie company, and the Nabisco comes through and says we're going to keep it Matt Campbell here.
Probably, yeah. I don't know what's based out of.
I have no idea. I have no idea what company.
To get outbid
by a cookie company. I don't know, man. That's a. They're a successful cookie company.
I'm sure they are.
And the entire Mormon church as well. Like, there's a lot going on there.
Where's Matt Campbell coaching?
He's the Iowa State coach. He's done a nice job. Like, he's a fine coach. Will he be a great coach? I have no idea. But this notion, as I said before, that Penn State was ever going to just get that, and truthfully, there's one guy. It's Curt Cignetti, and everybody after Curt Cignetti is basically the same. Like, they weren't getting an SEC coach to come take the Penn State job. They weren't getting Lane Kiffin. They weren't getting Josh Heupel. They weren't getting Kalen DeBoer. It's just that Penn State people are
holier.
Well, no, it's not holy. It's they're insane. They think that Penn State is.
Well, it was once, right?
Yeah, in the 80s. Like, it's so far removed from that. Like, people think that it's just because of the Jerry Sandusky scandal. Like, Penn State, when was the last time Penn State was in the national championship picture near the end of a season?
They were in the Final Four last year.
Yeah, thank you.
With that coach, yeah.
Yeah, the one they just fired.
Maybe that's who they should hire.
Yeah, that guy. So Matt Campbell is a fine hire for them. Like, that legitimately is as well as they were doing in this search if he ends up being the guy. Like, you're hoping he's the guy that makes it click there. Will he? No idea. But it's fine. That's a completely fine. It's goofy. It's kind of crazy the way that it works out, but presumably if that's who you hire, he had a recruiting class headed to Iowa State, and most of them will probably join him at Penn State. So,
is he part of the Campbell Soup family?
I don't think so, but
maybe that's who's
never
come in and
keep him at Iowa State.
Ames.
All right, Lamar Jackson back at practice today after missing yesterday due to having his foot stepped on apparently. And nice win for Detroit last night as they stay alive in the NFC. Like, that really was last night, like, massive for the Lions. and they get the job done. Very controversial offensive pass interference call that goes against the Cowboys late, and we got to talk about Kirk Herbstreit, man. What in the ever-loving F was that? I've been down on Kirk Herbstreit on Thursday Night Football for a few reasons. Like, I don't.
What did he do last night? I watched parts of the game, but I didn't notice.
He
anything.
tried to make it unwatchable.
Yeah.
Because he repeated this phrase, I think, 675 times during the course of the game. Well, you know, Shoddy's going to do this. We'll see how Shoddy handles this. Interesting call there by Shoddy.
Well, I mean, that's what we were waiting to see what Shoddy was going to do.
In the F was that? What was that?
That's a terrible booth. Seriously.
It's a horrible booth.
Yeah. Al's
He's
a legendary
it's right. It's well past losing his fastball. And I still appreciate it's Al Michaels, and maybe if he had the right analyst with him to bring the most out of him, that would be something.
Maybe he could get Boomer Esiason to work with him again.
I don't know. Boomer still does like morning radio in New York, right?
Boomer and him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I do remember now. Yeah,
Boomer kicked off
that's
Monday
right.
Night
I
Football.
remember now. I have no idea what in the ever-loving F that was. Brian Schottenheimer's nickname is Shoddy. If he had said it one time, it would probably
once per half,
or it probably still would have been one time too many because you're a broadcaster. It's really funny when they went down to the sideline and Laura Rutledge was interviewing him. You know what she didn't say? Hey, Shoddy. Because she's a broadcaster.
Well, Kirk wasn't speaking to him directly.
You know, it's funny. At halftime, when they were talking about him, no one said Shoddy. They used his name.
Well, there's a lot of syllables in it, too. So
it's unbelievable. How could you possibly be expected? That was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen from a broadcaster. And I don't, like, maybe he'll say, like, well, I talked to him. And he says that's what he wants to be known as. Great. Then when you're hanging out with him, call him that. You're broadcasting until he changes his name to Shoddy Schottenheimer. You're a broadcaster.
I wasn't.
It was embarrassing.
Particularly peeved, I guess.
Yeah, you were the only guy.
I was just upset with the rest of the broadcast.
It was bad. Yeah, like, there's a lot of problems there. There's no doubt. But that one, it was like nails on a chalkboard. Like he was trying to go out of his way to put something over. Like, I'm clever Kirk Herbstreit. I know this guy's nickname and you don't.
I think it should be
terrible.
I think it should be Joe Davis and Greg Olson, the Thursday night crew.
Okay. I mean, that's a fine crew. I don't know why they would need to do Thursday nights.
But because the current Thursday night crew is not good.
Okay, but we can just name good crews.
Right,
like, I mean, there's lots of good.
Sure,
CBS has
Kevin
tons
Harlan,
of great crews.
Well, for whatever, but yeah, it seems like Fox has like a thing with.
These people have nothing to do with Fox.
With Prime.
These people have nothing to do with Fox.
Yeah, but they always have. I feel like they have some of the rights. Isn't that how it works?
What are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about. It
clearly,
seems like Fox is more connected with like the primetime.
How
windows,
so?
Because CBS never has primetime windows.
What? What are you saying?
Or they could just buy it out. That's the crew I want. I don't know what.
Okay, that's your favorite crew, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't it just say that? Because nothing that you said after that made any sense.
Well, because Fox has had primetime windows. CBS hasn't.
What are you talking about? What primetime window
I'm trying to
has
say
Fox
why it's
had?
Thursday Night Football.
CBS also had Thursday Night Football at one point.
No,
what are you talking
when?
about? What is this? This is a really
when did
weird
CBS
bit.
have Thursday Night Football?
Griffin, I don't know what you think you're saying, but I would just eject. This makes no sense.
Okay, I thought Fox had a thing with Thursday nights.
And so did CBS at one point.
Okay, I don't remember that.
They used to be the home of Thursday Night Football. But now what?
The who did?
They both networks.
Oh, they both. Oh, okay.
Used to be the home of Thursday Night Football. What does that have to do with anything?
I thought Fox had a
This
thing
is a Mike
with doing
Francesa
Thursday
bit.
nights.
This is like a did the Rangers and Rangers.
But I think Greg Olson is the best. So that's why I want Greg Olson.
What was the caller? Did the Giants? Did the football Giants?
Right.
And the baseball
I don't think
Giants.
this is
Do they
that.
ever
I
get
think
together
it's
for a picnic?
I'm not trying to.
Do they ever get together
to
have?
I'm not trying to make any
I
grandstanding
agree
statement.
that Olsen would be.
He's a fine analyst.
I'm not trying to make any grandstanding thing. I just thought Fox had for whatever reason they had this straight away. I mean, they have got $400 million to pay Brady, so.
I still don't understand what you're trying to. You're suggesting that Fox should buy the rights back from Amazon?
No.
What are you saying? That's why I encourage you to eject some time ago.
All right,
well,
that's
no
what I'm
sense.
trying to explain. I guess it didn't have anything to do with Fox, but yeah, I think that Olsen and
You just like that crew.
Yeah.
You could just say that. That's a crew you like.
All right.
And
they're on Fox.
I think they're a fine crew. That's the problem. The games aren't on Fox.
Okay, so someone buy them.
Okay. I don't. Or you could just hire a different crew.
Like who?
You could try to.
You're
pry
complaining about
someone
them,
away.
and you haven't given any suggestions.
Anybody but this.
All right, you
right
and me.
now.
You and me?
Yes, would be
Garceau
better.
and Laird.
100%. Go get him. I watched
Laird
Garceau
wouldn't call him shoddy.
probably wouldn't. I watched Garceau and Femi call the Calvert Hall game last week. Go let him call the games. God, this was an adventure. I don't know what just happened here.
I mean, you're making a big deal about me saying Fox. Like that's.
Well, I'm
that's
just
all.
confused what the point was that you were trying to make.
Because I thought there was a connection between Prime and
There
Fox.
is no.
If there's not, then there's not.
No connection between Prime
All
and
right,
Fox.
my apologies
None.
to you, your family,
Thank
and
you.
everyone else.
Yeah, more people. Add more people to that
Stan,
list, please.
I know that you were
It was
currently up.
embarrassing.
That you were
It was really
especially
weird.
up in arms
It was just a weird
about
bit.
me making a correlation between Prime and Fox.
But there just
Now,
wasn't.
here's the larger question: Would Fox allow Joe Davis and Olsen to do those games? I don't think they would.
I don't think they would.
And I don't know what the contracts for Michaels and Herbstreit
I don't
look
know what
like,
they
right?
are
Like,
either. There's always a possibility that one of these. We have seen this happen before, where a network allows somebody to do something for someone else.
Right.
But at this point, with the NFL being as marquee as it is, you tend to want. I mean, to be fair, Kirk Herbstreit also works for ESPN, right? Like, you tend to want to have
Who was the
marquee. You see these people here and nowhere else.
Who was the analyst on the Terps game last week? The football game.
It was Petros Papadakis, if I remember correctly.
I liked him.
Oh, I've always liked Petros. Petros is great. I do like Petros.
Who does he work for? What
Fox.
network? Fox?
Yes.
How about him?
Oh.
Well, again.
Well, yeah, because
I'm trying to figure out what
the Fox
I'm Mike Francis. I really am Mike Francis. I'm listening to a
let
prank
him-
caller.
I think they would let
they,
him.
They would allow to work both. Petros is allowed to work both.
And
No one
Spiro-
else.
And Spiro Ditas.
And Spiro Ditas. Well, he works for CBS. So
that would never happen.
I'm not. Yeah.
They gotta.
Because
but
there's that
is
relationship
that
between
is a
Fox and
bad-
Amazon.
that Michaels and Herbstreit it's as bad as it gets. It really is.
It's very bad. But this was the worst. This was
How
the
about Clark?
worst.
I mean,
How
it's
about
just
Clark and Bass?
Again, after what we just saw, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
well, it'd be Bass and Clark Kellogg. You mean, right? Like that's. I wouldn't work with him. I wouldn't work with this Clark.
Do the damn tidbit. We gotta end this.
Why? Where do we have to be?
We gotta go.
Oh, I thought you were
around
gonna
to
give
wish Charlie Batch a happy
We're
birthday.
gonna talk to Charlie.
I thought you were
Batch
gonna
as
give
part of
a sponsor or something.
Oh, sure. Tidbit is brought to you. My head hurts from what just occurred. Tidbit is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. They won't make your head hurt. They'll make your head feel a lot better in the morning. As that's what they've done for me with
that was the point
peptide
of all this.
proteins. Is that what it was?
Set you up. Yeah.
Lord.
We're pros.
Yeah. With peptide proteins. Maybe you are low T. That might be the case. If you are, then they've got a plan for you. If you're not, first of all, you can get a free testosterone test. Free. Free. Free testosterone test. And if you're not, they could still help you because that was my reality. And peptide proteins were a game changer for me. You're a man of a certain age. You're going through certain things. Bedroom performance issues. Stubborn belly fat that won't just come off. I'm in favor of Ranger Suarez. I'm in favor of it.
Ranger Suarez. Orioles and Astros among the clubs interested in Ranger Suarez.
Give them a call, 443-264-4454 in Owings Mills, 443-266-3505 in Columbia, 240-931-3717 in Frederick. GameDayMen'sHealth.com is the website.
That would be like adding peptides to the
It
Orioles starting staff.
Be like adding. It would be like adding Greg Olson to the Thursday Night Football.
Maybe he meant Greg Olson, the
baseball player. He does not work for Fox, to my knowledge, but he does work for ESPN.
And could be an upgrade as well.
But apparently, we're allowed to have ESPN.
And he
people.
wasn't talking about the Joe Davis from Fox.
Oh.
There's a guy named Joe Davis
that he went to high school with.
That does plumbing.
Oh,
for, Joe Davis, the plumber.
JD Plumbing, yeah.
Go ahead.
They're calling him LaSelfless.
Oh, LeBron James, right? Because
his streak of 1,297 consecutive games played, scoring at least 10 points. He was held to 8 points last night, so a run that lasted 19 years of nearly 1,300 consecutive double-digit scoring games. LeBron James no longer after scoring just 8 and giving up a pass, making the game-winning assist in the
Was
Lakers'
that the
win.
longest streak of
Yes,
such?
it was the longest by quite a
by quite a bit.
Yeah, by quite a bit. So I'm not even going to ask that. But just an interesting tidbit. Kevin Durant has the longest active streak of double-digit scoring now. As he would need to, but in order to catch LeBron's record, he would need to play 82 games for the next 12 seasons.
I don't think he's gonna do that.
Why not?
I don't know, but I don't think so.
And we've obviously been talking Ravens Steelers all week. It will be the 39th matchup between John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, second most meetings between two head coaches in NFL history.
Oh, I know I saw this. I know I saw this. Oh God. Lambeau and Hallis.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lambeau and Hallis at 49 meetings between George Hallis and Curly Lambeau. Harbaugh and Tomlin will be meeting for the 39th time on Sunday. Any chance you can name number 3 or number 4 head coach matchups?
Does one of them involve Vince Lombardi?
No, it does not. I think he was he was like the only one that was sticking around.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
Most matchups between head coaches.
How about Landry? No, Landry's not.
No Landry.
Did any of them involve Chuck Noll?
No Chuck Noll.
Old. Really old?
No, there's one that involves a coach that is still currently active.
Andy Reid.
And we'll look at the top 4 here. No, Andy Reid is tied for around 10th.
Brian Dable.
Against Tom
He's
Coughlin.
definitely.
No, not Dable.
Definitely not the choice.
Pete Carroll.
No Pete Carroll.
Is it one of these two? Is it Tomlin or Harbaugh?
Yes, Tomlin's involved in.
Tomlin and Belichick.
Not Belichick.
Tomlin and this is Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis, 25 meetings, 4th most all time between two head coaches. Marvin Lewis versus Mike Tomlin. And number 3, 29 meetings between, also involves Curly Lambeau.
Also involves who?
Curly Lambeau.
Oh, Curly Lambeau. George Hallis.
Well, that's number 1.
We got that one.
Oh,
okay. Bud Grant.
Not Bud Grant.
No, they didn't. That Bud Grant was too modern.
Newton Rockne.
No, got to go. They met in the NFL championship 3 times between 1938 and 1944.
Oh, right. If you had started with that.
Sammy Baugh.
No.
I don't know.
Abner Doubleday.
Steve Owen.
Oh, Steve
Giants.
Owen. You remember, of course, Steve Owen. Didn't you and Steve Owen work together?
He worked for Fox.
You should put him on Thursday Night Football.
Can't be too much worse, right?
He played, but Mike. They're both called the Rangers. They're both. Why wouldn't they get together while they're in town? Maybe have a nice luncheon. There's a deep connection between. What did he say? Yu Darvish and Henrik Lundqvist. They have a really special connection. God, that really threw me. All right, here's what's coming up. Totally tubular-wise, busy weekend. As you mentioned, Tubular is brought to you by Project Game Day. We'll be with you on Sunday following Ravens Steelers. Come hang out with us. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day. Myself, Rita, KZ, Stetka, maybe Griffin still. I don't know.
Bill Stetka?
No, not Bill Stetka, Andrew Stetka. And former Ravens linebacker Tyus Bowser. Come hang with us. PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day. All brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, as well as the Costas Inn and Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. More championship games throughout the weekend. In Annapolis, 2 more tonight, and then 3 more tomorrow. Congratulations to Mervo, who won the first one last night. All of the title games can be seen at NFHSnetwork.com. Tonight, College Football Conference Championships, ABC for the American. We assume this winter into the playoff, North Texas and Tulane at 8. The Mountain West title game on Fox, and the Sun Belt on ESPN at 7. I guess Madison maybe could still be in the picture. Billy Napier going to be the next head coach at James Madison. Tomorrow, Maryland, Iowa, conference opener for the Terps. Godspeed, boys.
Who's coaching Iowa now? It's not
still-
Fran McCaffrey.
It's McCollum, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yeah. Ben McCollum.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
Because they all took
Yep.
like mid-majors.
Yes. Nico
right?
Medved went to Minnesota. Ben
Yes.
McCollum went to Iowa. That
And then
is
who's in
correct.
Indiana?
Indiana is DeVries.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Maryland, Iowa, 4 o'clock tomorrow on FS1. As we mentioned, Hopkins football against Salisbury in the playoffs. That's at noon on ESPN+. UMBC basketball at Bucknell at noon on ESPN+. Maryland soccer trying to punch their ticket to the Final Four. They take on Washington tomorrow at 1 on ESPN+. Coppins at Liberty tomorrow at 2 ESPN+. Morgan at home tomorrow, 4 o'clock against Longwood. The Big Ten Championship tomorrow night at 8 on Fox, Ohio State and Indiana. The Big 12 Championship at noon on ABC, Texas Tech, BYU, SEC Championship, Georgia, Alabama at 4, and ACC Championship, where the winner may or may not end up in the playoff.
Yeah, probably just Miami, right? They'll find a
Virginia
way,
and
yeah.
Duke at 8. They'd have to jump them over Alabama or Notre Dame, and I don't think there's any chance that the playoff doesn't want those two teams in. Like they're kind of up against it right now.
Yeah, but we need Michael Irvin in the play.
Yeah, that's a great point. Sunday. Ravens Steelers 1 o'clock on CBS. Then I guess both networks have double headers the next couple of weeks, which is weird. Broncos Raiders at 4 on CBS. Fox has Commanders Vikings at 1. Bears Packers at 4:25. The Sunday night game. Texans Chiefs at 8:20 on NBC. The Maryland women take on Minnesota on the road 4 o'clock on Sunday on Big Ten Network. The college football playoff selection show is at noon Sunday on ESPN. And Air Force and Navy down in Annapolis. It's been, as Patrick Stevens pointed out, a long time since they've played in each other in basketball. But that happens Sunday at 12 on ESPN+. Anything non-sports wise?
Not a whole lot. What was your favorite? What was your favorite part of season 1?
Of
obviously your favorite show of coming on after SmackDown every Friday. Everything on the Menu with Braun Strowman. The season 1 finale tonight.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Give me something real.
It's not even close to that.
Give me something real.
Jay Kelly, new movie on Netflix.
That's on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, I will watch
Well,
that.
everything's going to be on Netflix now.
Yeah, that's true.
Night, right?
I'll watch that.
Yeah,
that's the Adam Sandler
movie star.
George
Clooney plays a movie star, but he is a movie star in real life.
I didn't realize. I thought that was a theater thing. That's a Netflix
yeah, it looks
thing.
it looks extremely well done. So Adam Sandler plays George Clooney's manager, and then he like goes off to Europe or something because it's like kind of a midlife crisis. I think. Yeah, I think that's like the. But yeah, it's called Jay Kelly, and it's on Netflix.
Jay Kelly's daughter, not George Clooney's.
Correct. Yeah. Well, George Clooney plays Jay Kelly.
For clarifying.
Yes, I appreciate
George
that.
Clooney's trying to find his.
I also
as
forgot to
Jay
mention, by the way,
Kelly.
the World Cup draw is going on right now at Fox, and
Right
I
now?
think Dear Leader is doing a tremendous job.
What games are coming to Baltimore?
Anyway,
SNL is hosted by Melissa McCarthy with musical guests.
Ellicott City's own Dijon.
Really? He's
is
from
the-
Ellicott
Yeah,
City?
he's from Ellicott
I
City.
did not know
Yeah.
that. Okay.
He's the musical guest.
You know what's on tonight? The last episode of
Everything on the
Last
Menu with Braun
Frontier.
Strowman. Oh.
The 10th episode of The Last Frontier.
I'm
You
not
know about
familiar.
that?
I don't know
It's
the last one.
Very
All right.
entertaining.
All right.
Jason Clarke is in it.
Okay.
Jason Clark's having a
And
good year.
Halle Bennett.
All right. There we go. Everything you can find at GlennClarkRadio.com. Thanks today to Stan the Fan Charles. You got shows lined up for next week?
Nothing yet.
All right.
Nothing
Stay
yet.
tuned.
Luke and I will probably do something around the winter meetings.
Very good.
But getting the writers is a little. It's
They're busy.
it's
I understand.
tricky.
Very busy. So, yes, thank you to Stan. Thank you to Dan Wodicka from Johns Hopkins. Thank you to Sam Adams. And thank you to Charlie Batch, who you're about to hear from. We'll get all of it up in the greatest hits section of the
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer will be tonight on NBC.
tab at
Hey.
GlennClarkRadio.com.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Sam?
Sam Adams.
I don't think today is his
Charlie.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Well, it's just
Charlie.
it's like his half birthday. So
Oh,
Sam
okay.
Adams.
Sure.
He has a June birthday.
I heard Tim
My head
Kirchin.
hurts.
I heard Tim Kirchin this morning
Yeah.
on Sirius Radio and MLB Network talking about he did a podcast with his shirt on backwards by accident.
That's not great.
He had he says, I do everything in a hurry.
All right.
I've done that.
Anyway, tomorrow morning, the Bat Around. They're going to do a winter meetings preview, Paul and Zach, so make
Who
sure
they
you
have
tuned
them
in
on?
for that. I don't know. I have no idea. They
Each other, right?
Yeah, probably. They're just going to talk about what
You
they think is
they'll
going to
have
happen.
Griffin on?
Well, not after what just happened here today. We're going to have to. We're going to have a meeting about it.
I don't think that matters at all.
We're going to have a meeting about it. Bat around tomorrow, game day on Sunday, and then we're back on Monday. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, Volo Sports, Costas Inn, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Nick's Fish House, as well as 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygambling.problem.org, and your Baltimore area High's Dairy Stores. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio.
I have a question.
Oh, boy.
A scheduling question.
Yeah.
Are we on Friday the 26th?
Don't know yet. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thanks to
stay tuned.
Follow us.
Happy birthday, Charlie.
Have a great weekend. My God, go all the local teams. Duke sucks. We wrap up today's show. I had to do it a little bit earlier on, but Charlie Batch with us here on GCR. Well, of course, if it's a Ravens-Steelers week, that means we get to catch up with our next guest. Of course, he remains an analyst as part of Steelers Game Day broadcast doing the post-game. And, you know, he's a former Steelers quarterback and a guy that won a football game in Baltimore that we try to ignore still all these years later. But more importantly than that, he's a friend, and he is a very good man who has done incredible work out there in Pittsburgh. He's going to tell us more about that as well. He is Charlie Batch, and he is back with us this morning here on GCR. Charlie, it's Glenn, it's Stan. It's so good to see you. Happy holidays to you, and thank you for taking the time for us.
And happy birthday, and happy birthday to you, Charlie.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's always exciting, so I appreciate you having me on, fellas.
This one feels a little bit different than a lot of Ravens-Steelers games that we've talked to you about over the years, right? Like, this is starting to feel more like maybe it's not actually an elimination game, but it starts to feel like a bit of an elimination game. We start to ask maybe some big picture questions about these organizations. Does all of that get thrown out? Does all the noise get thrown out? Is this just Ravens-Steelers and it could still prove to be a classic? Or what do you make of the fact that these two teams are just two teams that aren't playing very good football right now?
Yeah, I mean, this like you said, it feels different, and it feels different because typically you have these teams that are maybe 10-2 at this point, 9-3, not 6-6, and even though both teams are in that position, it comes down to these two teams that ultimately are going to be a division winner. And schedule makers, you have to applaud them at least because the way they prepare and put Baltimore and Steelers in December, and in this case January 4th. That game ultimately, I feel, will ultimately determine kind of what this division looks like. So even though this game is important, but again, it's just trying to create that separation, whether either you're a game and a half behind or you're a game in front or a half game in front. So again, I love the rivalry, and again, this is what we are.
Charlie, I've had this thought that I've shared this week where like the Steelers are 6-6, the Ravens are 6-6, but to me the Ravens are a disappointing 6-6. I'll be honest, the Steelers are exactly where I thought they were going to be before the season. You tell me if I'm wrong or I'm being cruel. Like I just didn't look at this roster and find it to be overwhelming. I feel like this is kind of what they have. Are you disappointed? I'm sure as someone who cares about the Steelers you are, but are you disappointed based on realistic expectations by where they are at 6-6?
Well, I think, when you look at where they are right now, I think the disappointing piece is probably the Steelers because they started 4-1 and then now they ended up at 6-6. And when they had an opportunity to essentially kind of bury the Ravens, probably about a month or so ago when they played the Bengals on Thursday night and they had a chance to win that game and obviously fell short. Now it allowed the Ravens to get back into this. And I know obviously we're talking different areas when you're talking about from your Baltimore perspective, but Pittsburgh perspective. But when they lost that game, essentially up here in Pittsburgh, people are like, wow, you essentially let Baltimore back into the division at this point. So again, I understand what that looks like, but however you started, it's a matter of you just want an opportunity to put yourself in position in December. Baltimore did that, and unfortunately, the Steelers allowed Baltimore to be back in this situation.
Charlie, from the perspective you have now as an ex-player out of the game for a while, coaching. Mike Tomlin's been there since 2007. John Harbaugh in Baltimore since 2008. Is it possible that both their messages have gotten a little stale, or is it just simply talent isn't there?
Well, I think it's a little bit of talent. Let me start by saying, do I think both of them will be back in the 2026 year? Yes, that's my personal opinion. But I think when you look at this particular perspective, the rivalry was created the rivalry because both teams were very similar. The names were the same, and you knew what you were getting. And now you're starting to see the evolution of new players that are evolving in here. Unfortunately, when they stack their rosters, both teams, they stack them in comparison to what each other is doing. So the rosters are very similar. When you look at just the Steelers' perspective, they are, when it comes to the talent on the roster, they believe that they have the talent. Unfortunately, they're not getting it done for whatever reason that allowed them to get in this particular position. And at the beginning of the season, each organization expectations are to hoist that Lombardi trophy. So until they say it's a transition period, I expect them to win or at least compete for the Super Bowl championship. And right now, they're not playing as well as they would like to, but again, they're in position to hopefully make the playoffs in this particular point.
Former Steelers quarterback, game day analyst Charlie Batch is with us here on GCR. Charlie, the Aaron Rodgers experience in Pittsburgh, is it on him? Is it on a lack of playmakers around him? What do you make of how kind of mid it has looked for much of the season with Aaron Rodgers running this offense?
Yeah, I mean, early in the year, he was playing pretty good football. And, I still see him doing that, even though the numbers aren't matching up to what he's bringing to the equation. But again, offensively, they knew they were young. They knew they needed that veteran presence to come in here and stabilize that. And they were looking for these young players to now take that next step in whatever part of their career that they're at. And that hasn't happened throughout the season continuously, and that's why you're seeing the numbers essentially at the bottom of the offensive ranks, because these guys aren't doing it. They had stability in the offensive line. It looked like that was getting together. Broderick Jones goes out with an injury, and now you're looking to now start a new guy up front. So these are things that the changes are there. They truly believe that that's the case, but for whatever reason, Arthur Smith can't get these guys in the game plan, and it just it's head scratching, because when you look at the Steelers offense, it's not like you can look at one specific area and say they do this well. It's just the fact they don't do it well consistently, and that's the issue throughout the season.
Speaking of things they don't do well, is there any reason why the Baltimore Ravens shouldn't hand the ball to Derrick Henry, 60 times on Sunday after watching what the Buffalo Bills did a week ago?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, and for us, it goes back further, because in that playoff game, you essentially rushed for 299 yards, and that was that's what you were left with to close out the 2024 season. You go out, you draft Derek Harmon in the first round. He battled some injuries early, was consistent, and then now he's out again. So you don't have the piece that you thought that was going to identify to help stop the run, and yet Buffalo rushes in the manner that they did, which is unheard of in Pittsburgh as it relates to run defense. But here they are. So to your of Derrick Henry, why wouldn't you do that? Because of that reason. So I think ultimately we're going to see that. We don't know how healthy Lamar Jackson is. That's going to be an issue. And if he's not, then that means they're going to load up the box and force Lamar to now beat you with his arm, which we know he can. But the caveat to him is obviously his mobility. And if he doesn't have that, what did that offense look like for the Ravens?
Charlie, you made your point that you think Mike Tomlin will be back next year, but have you ever seen the fan base in Pittsburgh this sort of disillusioned? I understand there were an awful lot of Buffalo fans in the stands. I understand earlier in the year there were a lot of Green Bay fans. In the past, the out-of-towners couldn't have gotten those tickets, could they?
No, not at all. And it was amazing to watch it, because that's the first time that I truly felt that an opposing team has taken over the Acrisure Stadium, and it was unheard of. I mean, they were not happy with the way both units were working. There were a lot of boos that were happening. That was the first time that you heard "Fire Mike Tomlin" chants, and since he's been here. And the one thing up here that really surprised everybody was the fact that they booed Renegade, which has been a staple of trying to now get this defense and get them going, pumping them up, getting them excited. And they typically all good things happen when Renegade is played. Well, because they were down, they blacked out the screen and the fans started booing. And that was just like, wow, times have changed because the fans are not encouraged about the product that are being placed out there on that field. They need to do something about it. So this may be a good week that they actually get away from the home stadium and take their business on the road.
Man, that is wild. Charlie Badge with us here on GCR. Charlie, I guess the question would be, so then why to you do you think that Mike Tomlin is safe?
The contract.
Okay. They just don't want to. They just don't want to pay someone to not coach.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around him. He's still a great communicator. He still can get the message across. Unfortunately, those guys aren't doing it, and that obviously is a talent issue. It could be a scheme issue. Only they know that internally, but I just don't think that he's going to be moved anytime soon because if you've been around the Rooney family, what they don't do is pay coaches to sit home.
Charlie,
so because of that reason, I think he's going to be back.
Charlie, could it be a slightly different scenario where a team like the Giants come in and maybe offer a draft pick for him and try and acquire him? Do you think he's happy there right now? I'm sure he's not happy being 6-6.
Right. He's extremely. He's happy here. There's no question about it. I mean, his whole family has been here for 19 years. So, yes, him and the Rooney family, they have a really good relationship. So I don't anticipate that particular piece. Could someone offer a first-round pick for him? Yeah, sure. That's obviously on the table. But, again, they would have to get approval and negotiations have to happen for a coach to get traded. What I ultimately think is going to happen is when you look at these units, they continue to falter in the manner that they do. That means now as the head coach, you have two people to essentially that you could point blame to. One is the position coach. Two is the coordinator. Can I see moves being made in that particular manner? Yes, I can 100% see that because what basis do you have to stand on to say I can keep both my offensive and defensive coordinators if they finish at the bottom of the league in rankings?
You brought up Lamar a minute ago. I did want to get your thoughts on what you're seeing because it feels like we're sort of sitting here in Baltimore and saying the Ravens maybe there's a world where we wake up on Sunday, Lamar Jackson looks like Lamar Jackson again, and if he does, the Ravens are as dangerous as any team in the NFL because that's what Lamar Jackson can bring. But we have not seen that guy since before he went out with the hamstring injury earlier this season. Do you see someone that you say there's just no world? Like, can Lamar Jackson still be Lamar Jackson before this season is over?
I think he can, but again, we don't know the injuries that he is truly battling. We know about the hamstring injury, but is there something else that's going on?
Well, they've listed him with about 16 different injuries since then.
Thank you. So that's the part. You don't know what truly it is. So again, I understand why it may show up on the injury report because you don't want somebody just focusing in on that specific injury. But just watching him from afar, what happens is you're like, wait a minute, I've seen him get out of that play before. I've seen him extend plays to the manner that he's used to extending them. But when he's not doing that, that lets me know he's probably about 80%. But again, at 80% of Lamar Jackson is better than maybe what they currently have on a roster. So that's ultimately a coach quarterback decision, but he wants to be out there. He wants to be out there with his guys. But I just think that there is something else going on. But we'll see on Sunday because based off the way that the Steelers are, especially with their edge rushers, we're going to see whether he can now get out of that or he attempts to stay in the pocket. That's going to be something we see fairly early in this game.
Charlie, I know we're focused on this Sunday's game, but as a longtime observer of the Steelers, can they ever be back to what they were without addressing quarterback long-term? And how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, you always want to have a stability at the quarterback position, and obviously we've been spoiled up here with Ben Roethlisberger for all of the years, and I backed him up 9 of my 11 seasons. So I understand.
You don't have to remind us. We remember, Charlie. We remember.
So I've been there. So again, ultimately, you want to make sure you hit on the quarterback, and they missed with Kenny Pickett in 2022. Obviously, when you miss on a first rounder, that sets you back a few years, and now you see the revolving door that's happening right there at quarterback position. Thought they had a piece last year with Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Obviously, that didn't materialize, and here you are with Aaron Rodgers. And I think ultimately, I don't know what Aaron is thinking, as it relates to playing next season. But the issue that the Steelers have right now is they do have a young quarterback at Will Howard. They were excited about him coming out of Ohio State. The challenge is he was hurt in training camp with a broken wrist to his broken right wrist. So when you have something that's broken, it's hard for you to go out there and actually get the physical reps. So they can't even evaluate Will Howard up until this point because he just started practicing a couple weeks ago. So it's going to be critical for the organization to try to get him meaningful reps with the ones. But again, it's hard to do that during the season when you're running the scout team. And now they have to evaluate Will and then ultimately figure out what the next draft class better than what you currently have on the roster. Right now, as I sit here, I don't know if that is the case because quarterback play in college football right now is down a little bit more prior at this point of the season than it was coming into the season. So again, all of those things are being talked about within the Steelers organization. So depending on how this season unfolds, if for whatever reason it gets away from them and they're not in it in week 17 and 18, guess what? We may see Will Howard getting some reps to see if he can get game action so they can get an evaluation piece on him.
You mean potentially a backup quarterback against the Ravens? What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Hey, because I wanted you to tell us about Best of the Batch, but before I do that, we've done this so many times over the years. You accomplished a lot of things in your career. I mean, like you were a multiple Super Bowl winner. You were a starter in Detroit and on good teams. Where does that day in Baltimore on like everything you did in your career? Like we think of it a lot when we think of you because, you know, trust me, that week we were saying in Baltimore, they're not going to lose to Charlie Batch. That's not going to happen.
I said that they were going to lose.
Oh, you predicted it, Stan? But where on all the things that you did that day and being put in that spotlight, where is that on your like personal hit list?
Yeah, it's really high on there. Obviously, the 2 Super Bowls are 1 and 2, but a lot of that, Ben is credited for that because he started those games. So yes, I was part of the team. It felt great to be a contributor and those type of things. But ultimately, in a game that you knew you needed, in one of the final games of my career as a starter, my last game. But going into Baltimore, it was tough because not many people outside of Steelers Nation even thought that we can compete with the Ravens on that day as they were entering and had a chance to clinch the division on that particular game. But again, it's a rivalry game. And the one thing as a backup quarterback that you don't want said about you is the fact that if you lose the game, it's because the starter didn't play and the backup didn't contribute. And I always prided myself on that to make sure I was not going to be the reason why we lost the game because Ben's not in there. So you take pride in that manner. And again, we still needed to win that game for our slim playoff hopes to happen. And we won the game, but we lost a couple after that. We did not get into the playoffs. So it's a long way of saying 13 years later, people still bring that memory up. If it happened against a different team, I don't think people would talk about it in the light that it happened. But because it was Steelers-Ravens, 90% of the country was watching that game, and I had to go down there on a 2-minute drill and keep our defense off the field and score the winning field goal. That was one that really I prided myself on, and I knew that potentially was going to be the last game for me, and that's why you saw the emotions happen with the hug between myself and Ben Roethlisberger at the end of that game because I knew that there was a chance that was going to be it, and lo and behold, it was.
Hey, Charlie, I know Glenn wants to dig into your charitable work, but I have to ask you, you played 4 seasons in Detroit. How gratifying is it to watch the turnaround that Dan Campbell has brought to Detroit?
Yeah, it's exciting to watch for sure. And, of course, I wanted to be part of that piece. I did not expect my career to kind of go that direction. But, again, I was part of the problem when you go up there and not being able to put consistent seasons together. They made changes, I understand, from an organizational perspective on what they needed to do. And then here you are fast-forwarding all of these years later. And then, you see the way that organization went. But ultimately, to see him now on the upswing, Dan Campbell is doing one heck of a job. It makes you proud as a former alumni of that organization to say, man, I'm rooting for you, except when you play the Steelers. So when you look at it, obviously that will come to a head at the end of this month because Pittsburgh goes to Detroit. And it's been almost 27 years since the Lions have beat the Steelers. And the last time the Lions beat the Steelers, there was some dude by the name of Charlie Batch who was the starting quarterback of that team. So you better believe I'm going to be put on blast when I do these interviews with Detroit in a couple weeks, asking me my feelings as it relates to what that potential game is going to be.
Charlie, as far as we've talked to maybe a million athletes about their charity endeavors over the years, but I don't know that we've ever talked to anyone who is as committed and cares as deeply as you do. Can you remind everybody about what it is that you've been doing with the Best of the Batch Foundation and how I remember what you told me last year and how it's grown. It's insane to me how this has grown over the years and the work that you're doing.
No, I appreciate it. And Best of the Batch Foundation, we're an educational foundation, and we serve over 4,000 kids annually in 9 counties throughout southwestern PA. And we're an educational foundation. We focus on our STEAM programs and our out of school time, which is very critical for kids as they are now leaving school before parents get home. So we make sure that we're focusing on those. And when you see that happening throughout the course of the year, people get excited, and we just expanded. We went from 5,300 square feet to 33,000 square feet, and we just did a ribbon cutting April of 2024. So we always, out of that, 1,100 students actually come through our doors throughout the course of a calendar year. So we're super excited about that. And as you see it, you just saw the before picture and now what it looks like after, as far as where we're at. And during this time of year, during the holiday time, we adopt 400 families throughout the holiday time, and it's over 1,800 kids that we'll be able to impact. So what we do is collect unwrapped toys. Then we need help wrapping them. So it takes over 1,500 people to help wrap the gifts. And then we deliver the week of Christmas. So what we do, we work with school districts because they know the family dynamics better than we do. They provide the list of the families, and then from there, the ages and the name of the kids. And then from there, each child gets a minimum of 10 toys, and then the household gets a laundry basket full of food, and then they get a dish set, pot set, silverware set, Swiffer set, toolkit to now make that whole family experience happen. And when you are now showing up and delivering these presents to the families, it becomes emotional because without this, they may not have a Christmas. So that's why it's important for us to continue to do the work that we are doing, because we don't do this by ourselves. My wife, Latasha, and I, we don't do this by ourselves. It takes a village to be able to make this happen. With all the support that we receive, we are truly humbled, and we are grateful for all the support that people have believed in us all of these years later. So if anybody wants to, and we love to collaborate with people. So if anybody wants to learn more about what we're doing, they can go to batchfoundation.org, see all of the programs that we do throughout the course of the year. And obviously, if we can collaborate, we love to do so. But also, if you want to help donate toys, there are options that you have. If you're within Pittsburgh area, we have drop-off locations around the city. But also, we have click and ship options that we have on our website that will ship directly towards us if you select us to be able to choose during this holiday time. And we are in dire need of toys 10 and above, because those toys are the ones that we are shortfall right now as we are wrapping. So if anybody interested, please, we are looking from 10 to 18. If that's something that, as you browse our website, that you're hopefully be able to bless some families as well. So we appreciate you all.
Charlie, that's an amazing endeavor. I'm wondering, is the business community, are they supportive of your efforts there in Pittsburgh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just case in point, when I just talked about, we call it Batch of Toys. Typically, it's a playoff of our name. But Batch of Toys, that program, over 1,500 people that help put that together, over 30 companies that are a part of it because they're coming over, whether that's support role financially, whether that's coming over to actually volunteer their time to wrap gifts. We are truly grateful of that. So, yes, the community is huge supporters of that. And obviously, it starts with the Rooney family up here in Pittsburgh. Art Rooney, Greta Rooney, they are true believers in what we are doing, and everybody in between. We don't shortfall anybody, regardless if I don't care if you can donate 16 cents or maybe $160 out of your check. But when you do that, because there are so many organizations that you can choose from, but when you select us and you choose to be a part of it, we are grateful for that, because I have many different options that people can choose, but you choose to spend your time with us, and that's what we're truly appreciative of.
Again, batchfoundation.org. Charlie, your family, you are a light, and we are so appreciative of that. We always appreciate you taking the time for us. Look forward to catching up again as we get to Week 18. Thank you so much for doing this, and happy holidays to you, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Happy holidays, fellas.
Happy birthday again, Charlie.
Thank you.